Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of the Top Cut Pod, a Pokemon TCG podcast that's presented by Top Shelf Co. I'm your host, Juan Pablo Ipiales, joined by my amazing coworker and co-host, Lucas Ward. Lucas, how are you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I am pretty good.
Yeah,
School's
awesome.
going to be crazy, but I think I've come to terms with it. So
Yeah,
I'm just going to prepare myself for the next two
exam
weeks
season.
of exams.
Yeah.
It's weird because a lot of my program, which is criminology, what happens is we don't have final exams. And you might think
Oh,
about that and be like, that's great. But what happens is the final 2 weeks are just filled with final exam type tests, simply all in the last 2 weeks. So I have, over the span of the next 2 weeks, 3 essays and 4 tests to write. So
that's pretty bad.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad. But then after December 2nd, I'm free until the fall term. I mean the spring term or the winter term. So it's a payoff.
Gotta push through.
Gotta push through. It's a payoff.
Mhm.
But yeah. So today, Lucas, we're gonna be doing a quick little recap over the November League Challenge that we hosted here at Top Shelf. We're then going to go over Las Vegas regionals, a pretty interesting regionals. Unfortunately, we're recording just before NEIC, but truthfully, I don't think we're missing
LAIC.
LAIC, right? But I don't think we're missing much because they're not going to be playing with Phantasmal Flames, and that's always silly to me. And then we will end off talking about something that hopefully we get experience, which is that for Toronto Regionals, the first regionals that's going to be held in Canada this season, and so far still the only one. Montreal still has not wanted to pop its head around. Hopefully, it will. Um, we'll be experimenting with deck lists in Top Cut, which we both have, I think, very different viewpoints, which is going to be interesting to get into. But yeah, Lucas, how about you start us off looking at the graph for the November League Challenge? I did try out a new format.
Sure.
The motivation behind this new format was that I thought the bar graphs were looking ugly, and then
Pie charts are cool.
yeah, the pie charts are way cooler. They're way cooler. And then essentially, what happened with that was I wanted to make sure that it at least looked good. And Riftbound came out over the past couple of weeks, and at the shop, we've been pushing it a lot. And Colin made a very similar graphic for Riftbound. Pokemon cards are a lot harder to make look pretty on a pie chart than League characters who have had decades of splash art, but I did my best. So, how about you
I
break
think you
this?
did a
Thank you.
great job.
Thank you. How about you break us through this meta? And just for a quick note before you go on,
Yeah.
the substitute is just a thing. Limitless uses it a lot on their Limitless
Oh, just
Playlabs,
for
just for
other.
like
Yeah.
any other deck that isn't really super big. We had a lot of one
Right.
offs, which we did. I have wrote in a couple of notes here that we'll get into. So, how about you just bring us through the first couple looks of the meta for November?
Yeah. So, like our last league challenge, I think, or maybe this is the second of the season. Nolan Randall taking down the challenge. It was very close. It just went down to resistance because when Nolan and Noah played each other, they tied. So that
Oh,
was that was pretty exciting following that through the last round. But Nolan playing Gardevoir, pretty standard list. I don't think it was Jelly Gardevoir. I think just straight Gardevoir. And then Noah with Grimmsnarl, pretty cool. Some pretty cool additions to Grimmsnarl. He was playing the Yveltal and Petrarunt EX combo, which I think is really cool. Just having free retreat, free switch whenever you need. You're kind of monkey dory, mind bend proof. You can't be confused because you can just retreat whenever. So I think that was really cool tech that I saw in Noah's deck. Um, and then if you look down to fourth place, very cool deck. Um, James brought Heatran Matang to the challenge and did very well. That's I think I that was the first time I've ever seen that deck. And then he started the tournament 4-0, and I was cheering for him the whole time. It was really cool. Um, but yeah, Himith. brought Charizard. I think he played Charizard to our last challenge as well.
Yeah,
So
he also
he's
got top 8, so he's been doing pretty
yeah,
well with Charizard.
he's been grinding with Charizard, which is awesome. I love that deck. And then to round off the rest of top 8, two more Gardevoirs, one Jelly Guardy, and two Joltik Box. So I haven't seen a lot of Joltik Box lately. The Goldango Joltik Box combo had been taking over just the regular Joltik Box, but now we're seeing, at least at our league, it's starting to have a little bit of a comeback. So that's pretty cool. Just to see a deck that was really popular, and then now it's becoming a bit more popular. But I'm trying to think of some other cool decks that came outside of the top 8. I know there was a Mega Venusaur, which I'm a big fan of. I love that deck. Didn't make top 8, but still really cool
Yeah,
to
Dan
see
was
Mega
playing it.
Venusaur. Oh, yes, it was Dan. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was a great tournament. We had a lot of people show up. I wasn't expecting a packed house for it. I think we were just talking before this. We had 25. No, I think it was 27 people total at the tournament. I think it
Oh,
was
yes.
one senior and then 26 masters. So that was great having a full house, some good competition, and yeah, just a great time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I finally played in the November League Challenge, and it showed. I went 2-3. With both my wins, one of them coming at a double prize penalty. Which I do want to shout out Thomas quickly for being a good sport about it. I think I always have a really hard time with rule breaks in the TCG, especially when they're not malicious. Just for added context, he off a drag cloak, he went to go look at his two cards, and then realized he didn't shuffle his deck after he already seen his two cards. I then stopped him and was like, I don't know what to do here because I was at two. He was looking for boss essentially. It was Dragapult versus Goldango, looking for boss to win out the game. I only had two prize cards left, so I'm pretty sure he had a Dusclops on his bench. So I think he would have just bossed the Pheasantipity, popped the Dusclops, and then won the game. Um, but it's definitely one of those situations where I've always had problems kind of dealing with. Thomas was a really good sports about it though, and he did kind of just accept that what he did was technically breaking the rules. I always feel so weird bringing it up, just because I know he's not cheating. He's not going to try to cheat. It was a very honest mistake. From what he explained to me after, is that he thought he had boss in hand, and then realized he didn't, and then he went for nest ball, I think, to search out Fez, and then right after nest ball, he immediately went to the Dracloak. It was not malicious at all. I think he was just trying to play fast. We had a little bit. We had like I want to say 6 minutes left around, but I think we've all been there where you kind of like see the line, and you just want to get it done. I think the difference is that when you're playing in person, unfortunately, not online, your deck doesn't shuffle itself. But yeah, talked to him for a bit, and he was like, I think it's really helpful to have people like Thomas come out, and people like Thomas in the community. He fully was like, I understand it's a competition. He then explained to me he does jiu-jitsu, and he was like, yeah, like recently I won a tournament, I won my second game off disqualification. I would have lost on, I think it's a judging skill that they have. He was telling me he would have lost, and that he was totally cool with it. So I want to shout him out. But yeah, dealing with those are always weird because it's like, how do I make this not look like I'm going to just want to win a game that I know I have no chance of winning? Um,
Right.
and yeah, like you came over, you explained to him, and then I was 90% sure it was a double prize penalty, which made it tough because if it's at three prizes, then it's like, you know what, he can still win this turn, and then like that will be fine. Like he wins the game, like it's a prize penalty, he learns whatever. But I was like, oh, I just win the game. So that obviously like makes it a little weird for me personally, at least,
Mhm.
to kind of
Yeah.
call
Yeah, I
on
understand.
calling it. But that was kind of again Thomas. He's a brilliant sport, and he played really well. It was very, and we just talked after the round. He was a really nice guy, so I do want to shout him out and just say I appreciate having people like that within our community. Makes playing the game easier, and he was really cool about it. And he said that he didn't know that that would have been a double prize penalty, so he was like, at least it happens at the local level. I don't exactly remember if he's signed up for Toronto, but I mean, I'm happier it happens to something like this rather than a cup or something that maybe he's in top
Oh yeah,
four.
it's better to make mistakes at locals for sure because there's like way less stakes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it was for me, it's the only thing that I kind of, just because of my lack of being able to play a lot of Pokemon, I do take challenges seriously in the sense where I kind of do treat them
Oh yeah,
as my highest level of competition because I don't really go out to locals so often. I work on weekends, so I can't go to cups. So for me, challenges are just like, this is kind of all I have for really competitive Pokemon. So I treat it very seriously. Um, I should have prepared a lot more. I kind of just picked up at the time, it was the Leo, or there was a Gadance fourth place Goldango deck, which is the one with the Prime Catcher, not the Secret Box. Um, but yeah, I definitely did not know what I was doing with the deck. I did lose to Noah in my first round. Second round was then the double prize multi. Third round, I lost, and then fourth round I lost, and then fifth round I got the bye. So reality, my 2-3 record is actually just like straight up kind of 0-5. But I technically have two wins on paper.
hell yeah.
um, but no, it was fun to go out. I think I'm definitely gonna make
Mhm,
an effort, even when things are really busy with school, to at least come up with challenges. I've been
mhm.
grinding Goldango with the secret box, and I've been feeling like actually confident in the deck for the first time in God knows how long. Because I like jumping around just to play new stuff, but Toronto's coming around, and it might be a long shot, but I want to at least have 5 wins. That's kind of the goal I've set for myself.
Yeah.
But no, like the challenge is really cool. There's also like a couple other decks. Owen, who a lot of you might remember plays Hydreigon a lot, brought Xian Pao, which was super cool to
Oh
see.
yeah.
I think one of the newer players was like, I don't even know what this poke like. He pulled out Fridgerbacks, and then he straight up went, I don't even know who that Pokemon is, because he doesn't play the video games anymore.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to him after, he was like, yeah, I never saw that Pokemon ever. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
You
then
bringing up actually Chimp out, someone played Abomasnow to the challenge as well. The Mega
yes,
Abomasnow.
yeah,
So that's really cool. I'm an Abomasnow fan. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. So just seeing that deck, even though it's maybe not the best deck, just seeing someone bring it and play is really cool.
and it's like, yeah, it's just like decks that are fun, and I think that's kind of like what
Hmm.
the challenge. Like, I think that's the weird gray area that a lot of challenges sit at. 'Cause I think Owen goes quite like weekly. Like people like Denzel go weekly. People like Dan go weekly. So these are people who like because they play so much in person, they're probably gonna experiment more. And then I think there's people
Hmm.
more like Nolan or Noah who are definitely a lot more competitive in the game. I'm
Definitely.
not. I'm pretty sure Noah's maxed out on challenge wins from what I remember if I spoke with him.
Yeah, I think maybe he has like one or two, one more first that he needs, but he's pretty close. And then yeah, Nolan as well. I'm sure. I didn't talk to him, but I'm sure he has more challenge wins. He's very good. So
Yeah, he already he won.
yeah.
He's the most so far. He's the Henry or the Ahmed of our season, just winning everything here at Top Shelf.
Hmm.
2 league challenges and then a cup. So he's been
Hmm.
doing very very well, and I think he's gonna be Grand Dragapult. I would be very surprised if he were to switch last minute for Toronto Regionals. Um,
Yeah, he's been bouncing between Gardevoir and Dragapult for sure. So
so I
yeah,
think for him it's gonna be whichever's gonna be the better play.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of like what are my initial thoughts on the meta are.
Hmm.
I think again it's always nice to kind of see at the shop a bit more people trying to choose new things. Even though I kind of play a bit more of a meta thing, I think it's nice because I get a lot of matchups I just don't really experience, and I kind of get to learn a bit more. Um, but yeah, like I think if there's anything else you want to add on before we move on to our next segment,
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it pretty well.
and we are back for the second segment of the podcast. So this weekend was Las Vegas the regional champions, and Buenos Aires, the special event down in Argentina. So those are always pretty cool, and they actually did have a community stream in Buenos Aires, which is very cool to see. Um, the production was pretty decent. Like they were showing prize cards, and they were showing like how many prize cards people had left and the timer. Which
Okay.
for a community ran stream, when we try to run our streams, like that's pretty hard to do. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate everyone that who was part of that production. It's cool to see a lot of the LA events be streamed. It's a shame that TBCI still kind of neglects them when it comes to their challenges, especially when they have players like the Fernandez brothers and the Cifuentes brothers who play there all the time. And it's like,
Mhm.
I like seeing good players play Pokemon. Um, it is what it is. And then, yeah, Las Vegas regionals. Um, Lucas, how about you bring me down this top eight, which seems to be pretty different, which is nice.
Yeah. So there's two of the Mega Absol boxes. So Tord took down the tournament, as I'm sure people watching saw, in a pretty favorable matchup against Zorark. He just played two cornerstones down each game, and then that's all he needed to do. So pretty, I mean, to me at least, not a very exciting final, just because Tord just has to do like three things the whole game, and then he wins. But Liam Halliburton bringing Zorark again just shows how much he's mastered this deck, how good he is with it. And then this time, I don't think last time he had, or maybe he did the Darmanitans, but he brought the Darmanitans this time. So I guess he was expecting a lack of Shaman, which, based on how he did, makes sense. And then Goldango, there's only one Dragapult, and then I'm like the second place Dragapult was all the way down at 16th, so a little bit of a fall off from Dragapult. So that's kind of cool to see. It's been so dominant for so long. I like Dragapult, but yeah, it's had its time. So now it's Gardevoir's time to fall. I hope at least. Just get something new. But there was two Gardevoir Jellicents in top eight, so still a very strong deck, of course. And then there is actually eighth place is Joltik Box. So it showed up at our challenge, and now it's showed up at the regional level as well. So that's pretty cool to see. The Joltik Box comeback. But yeah, lots of Absol, lots of Gardevoir, lots of Goldango. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a cooler top eight than I think we've seen in a bit. Definitely Tord Redcliffe, just kind of like players like Tord Redcliffe, was OGGs, like all these like really top players. They always make me laugh because of how easy it is for them to qualify to Worlds.
Yeah.
Um, like it is nothing to them. Tord, I think, had so many games on stream over the weekend. He was the first game that showed on stream. Um, he just plays such excellent level of Pokemon that it's still, I kind of think about it, it's like, damn, Riley McKay beat him, like top four of LAIC. I think every single, I mean NAIC, every single time like I see him or I see Tord, I'm like, damn, Riley like beat him. That's like really cool.
Riley beat this guy.
Yeah, it's like
I know
really cool.
Riley.
It's like he's beaten me before, so I'm basically like Tord.
Yeah.
um, but no, it's like really fun. Yeah, Zoroark with Halliburton. I also love the way that Liam Halliburton plays. It was a pretty cool semi-final. Or no, the semi-final was pretty bad. Who did he play? That was when he played the Dragapult. I think they showed that on game on stream. It was pretty
Mhm.
cool. Um, Definitely Zoroark kind of proving its worth for now, at least. I think Mega Dancy for Gardevoir is going to make Zoroark very, very, very hard to get those numbers it needs to knock out Diancie.
But
Um,
the ends Zekrom
the
that
ends,
was
yes,
released.
the ends Zekrom
So yeah,
250.
that'll be cool.
That's good. So it might die for a format. I might not see any play
Mhm.
for a format, but it'll come
Mhm.
right back.
Yep.
It'll be very, very cool to see what happens. But yeah, definitely Mega Dancy will, in my opinion, slow down Zoroark for
Yeah.
the Phantasmal Flames formats. I
Mhm.
think definitely still a good play. Like it still has its good Dragapult matchups. With Toadscroll, it can still be very annoying to play against, especially as like I've become more of a Goldango player. It's definitely like really annoying when I'm online. I see a Toadscroll and I whiff on the boss. Um, the Mega Opsal Box deck is so fun. I have it built. I've played it a couple times online, but definitely I think that deck has a ridiculously high ceiling. Like if Gardevoir has a really high ceiling, then this deck
Oh,
is
yeah.
even Like it's
Hmm.
Tord made it, Tord created it, and then if we look at number fourth, who's that? Oh, it's Riki Okada, one of the best Japanese players.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the two people who made top eight with the deck. That should tell you, I think, everything you need to know. Um,
Hmm.
Aban Ahmed going on a tear this season. He saw Henry Chow win three regionals.
Yeah.
He's won one. Did you watch the semifinal match between him and Tord?
I did not.
Another unfortunate situation for Aban where on game one, which ended up winning, he rips an extra card off of Mysterious Garden. They don't catch it. They go into game two.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
game two
Hmm.
starts. Tord wins game two. And turn three, and in game three, you see those two Pokeball that are all red. And Toad Reckless essentially has
Hmm.
the freest matchup in the world with the two prize cards. Doesn't matter what a Bond does, he has to be aggressive. He has to try to get prize cards, meaning that he has to play his Mew, he has to play his Fez, and that's kind of all she wrote when it came for that semifinal match. But kind of, I was thinking about this, and maybe if you could explain this more. Jaltic Box in top eight kind of did not make sense to me. Is there anything that you're kind of seeing in the meta right now that will kind of make more sense to why we're seeing like Jaltic Box have this type of success?
Um, I think like I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I think like it's just pretty good against Gardevoir from what I'm thinking. It's just going with Iron Hands. You don't need a ton of items to get your Iron Hands set up. You just need Arven to start the game for a Miraidon, and then you can kind of just start attaching energy from there. So that's what I'm thinking is maybe he hit a bunch of Gardevoirs, Dragapult, like he just outpaced some Dragapults and Charizards is my guess. But other than that, I'm not I'm not too sure, to be completely honest.
I think something that I was thinking about, which I think where you're saying how it's like outpacing Gardevoir, I think something I was thinking about is how it is now also kind of beginning to completely outpace Goldango. Because I
Hmm.
just realized that there's Lunatone and Solrock. So
Yeah. Sorry,
now,
I'm looking up his matchups right now, so I can see
yeah, no worries.
actually who he played, and then we can get a better idea. Um, played four Gardevoirs. He lost to a Cerulege, which I guess that makes sense. But yeah, so lots of Gardevoir. Beat some Zoroarks. Just I guess Pikachu is really how he beat Zoroark. That makes sense.
Mm.
Um, yeah, actually pretty spread out matchup pool. So I guess he just did really well. Just played really well Pokemon. Really good Pokemon.
Yeah, and he seemed. Oh, yeah, his matches were just kind of ridiculous. Like he has Terrabox, he has Dragon Ball Charizard, he has Frostless Monkey Dory,
Hmm.
Pidgeot Control. He did beat an Box going into top, going into to then eventually lose to Ruki Okada, which I think when I think about it, I'm assuming in that matchup you kind of rely on the Pikachu, but I feel like it must be pretty hard to get that off consistently.
Hmm.
Um, and not saying that this person so played in any other rounds, but definitely I can see. And you also have to play against like pretty high players. You have to play against John Eng, um, and Ruki Okada, and has to play against Christopher Butler, which I think I've had heard his name before. So it seems like this is probably one of the bigger expressions of like skill. Um, I want to say I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people kind of do frown upon a bit Joltik Box and Raging Bolts and kind of call them like the Crayon Eater decks. But I think when you look at this matchup spread and you see that he's had to play a bunch of different decks, um, it definitely makes. I think it's a really cool thing to see. I think like seeing these types of decks do so well is always something I really enjoy. It makes the game feel really fresh and makes the game feel really nice overall compared to like when we kind of just see 4 copies of the same deck in top 8, and you're just like, cool. It just gives people who hate on Pokemon a bit more reasons to hate on it. But yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna cough real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
No, I'll get. Yeah.
But yeah, but then you kind of like scroll down, and then the top 8, you kind of realize, oh, there is like, I guess it's better than having one deck be good in the format, but there is 4.
Sorry, now I'm coughing. Oh my God. Sorry.
No, you're
Okay.
good. Um, but yeah, it's kind of nicer to see that you kind of like, oh, top eight's really cool, and then you scroll down a little bit, and then you're like, oh,
It's
actually,
not
it's
as
just
cool
like 3
anymore.
decks. Yeah,
It's just two decks. Yeah.
it's 3 decks.
Yeah, three. It is three. Yeah.
Jelly, Goldango, or Jelly, Mega Absol, Goldango, and Dragapult. So I guess 4. 4 is pretty good, but
Yeah.
definitely the meta is, I would still say, on the healthier side right now. I think again, it's a little frustrating that for one of the first international event of the year, we don't have Phantasmal Flames legal, so this format just feels like it's going to drag on for a really long time. I think Phantasmal Flames is going to have a little bit of the benefit of the doubt where it doesn't have a lot of regionals in December, so it's going to have the one in January, and I think whatever ones are near Toronto, and that's going to be a pretty relatively short format in the competitive circuit, at least, which also is going to suck, I think. Just means that Liam Halliburton can just kind of chill at home. He doesn't need to make his way all the way to Toronto. He just is like, oh, Zoroark's gonna be a bad play for exactly one
I mean,
format.
I'm sure he'll still be there, but yeah,
Yeah, he even might be there and
I
be
know what you
like,
mean.
he might be there
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, this time I'll just get day 2 instead of top cut, or somehow
Yeah.
still find a way to top cut. Like I don't think Zoroark essentially becomes like a bad play. Like you can easily get day 2 on skill diff alone at a player of his caliber. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely a little frustrating that like Phantasmal Flames is going to be such a short format. That Mega Evolutions is such a long format. I'm excited for NAIC. I mean LAIC. I do love the international events. I think they are really cool. Um, I really love the merch that they're handing out. Well, it's
Yeah.
super cool. The playmats look cool. It seems like for the first international of the year, they have stepped up quite a lot, or the season, I should say, with a lot cooler stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of like, or I don't know how you feel about this, but when it's an international event and we have new cards to play, and then I still have to see people play the same format, I've seen them play for like 4 regionals, I think. It's like, yeah, because we had Lily, Gdansk, Las Vegas, Buenos Aires, and then Brisbane. So 5 majors of the same format, and then I have to watch the international in that same format. That feels bad to me, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
No, I agree. I think like I know they've done it a few times in the past, but like when they have big events, so ICs or Worlds, for example, like having those events be the first tournament of a new format, I think is really cool. Just because it's people really expressing like what they think is going to be good and not what's been proven to be good. So I think like that aspect of it, like having a new set for a big tournament is really cool. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree with like this format has been around for a while. It's cool to switch it up a bit. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll still be great to watch, but just could be a bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely would have been cool to see if Charizard's actually a fraud or not. I'm still saying
yeah.
fraud, but I think that's just people on the ladder not being good at the deck. I love the new format. Just a little tangent here. I love the new format on the ladder because it's always like people playing the most interesting decks, and then I just get to climb the
Mhm.
ladder really quickly because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you should be able to beat me with I think Mega Charizard X against Goldango. I mean, I feel that feels like that should be a good matchup with the resistance. You don't have to do that too much,
hmm
but you just discarded your only Fire Breather in hand with an Ultra Ball, and now you have nothing on your bench.
Yeah.
So, is the deck good? I have no idea because every single time I run into it, it
Yeah.
seems like it's Timmy playing his first game of Pokemon because he pulled the in the like he pulled something really cool from his pre-release kit.
Hmm.
Um, that's yeah. So again, and here's the other thing. Like I hate that online is now. Like I'm not going to LAIC, but if I was, I'd be really frustrated because now all the playtesting, I have to hope I have a really good playtest group because now I have if I load up on the ladder, my deck is not going to be able to match up with some decks simply because they have cards like Dawn or they have cards that are going to be really really cool, that are going to be really strong, that might shift up the meta, but we won't know until I don't know what the
Hmm.
next event is from LEIC. But it's kind of like that sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like a lot of pro players I was seeing like kind of complain about. But I still agree with you. Like I think it's gonna be really cool to kind of see what ends up happening. I guess you could take the alternate perspective and be like, it's the end of a format that can have like this huge event where it's like it's established, so now it's like no more
Yeah, so now
surprises.
we really see who's the best with these
Yeah,
decks.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
it's just slugfest. Like it's the goat. Like who's ever the goat is just the goat of this format. There's no chance for people to have just a cheese deck that somehow beats everyone, wins a huge event, and falls off the face of the earth. For Alligator, I'm looking at you on the biggest fraud to watch of all time. And this is why best of one formats are bad. Japan, you own the game. You made the game. Why do you still have best of one formats? Um, but yeah, I think you can look at the ultimate perspective and be like, hey, these are just like the best players now. Like we have the pipe, like
Yeah.
the best players. I recently learned that Piper Lapine goes to a university that's very close to where we live, and if her
Hmm.
schedule is anything like mine, I hope she can make it to LAIC and get some exemptions on any exam because I want her to do well. Like the big players that we've been seeing, like Ryuki, Tord, Liam, Henry Chow. Like these are gonna be it's gonna be a cool tournament regardless. But I mean, it's the sixth event in this format, and then we're gonna have I think four at most with Phantasmal Flames, and that just always feels bad. But at least Toronto's in it, so I have all this time. I have all the time in the world to get my singles. And now that I am
Yeah.
not gonna play god awful Dragapult list, it's gonna be good. So we'll
Hmm.
take a quick break and we'll come back to talk about something that's going to be very interesting. A new switch up to the TCG, which is going to be open deck lists. We'll be right back, everyone. And welcome back, everyone, for the last segment of the podcast. I want to talk about something that has been causing a bit of controversy online, which I think you don't really see in the Pokemon TCG community, at least. VGC is riddled of people accusing others of cheating. Not here. If you cheat, you will get caught, or if you do something silly, it's just all on camera. Um, so we don't really get a lot of controversies here, just like a bit of annoyances, a bit of grievances. But this topic in particular, has definitely caused a bit of controversy among players, where it has been confirmed through Arcanine, which, if you're not familiar, are the people who actually run regionals. Obviously, TPCI supports them, but Arcanine is the people who kind of get everything together. It's the staff that kind of run everything. Obviously, it's a mix of volunteers and workers, but every single time you go, the company behind it, Game Gen, not to be confused by Game Genic, Game Gen, you're going to see people wearing their shirts throughout the entire tournament. They're the people who help you come in. They're people who organize everything through security and everything. They kind of leaked that Toronto will be having open deck lists, which is the first time it's ever happened in the TCG, specifically for Top Cut. I have my opinions. I think Lucas has maybe similar, maybe different opinions. But Lucas, how about you start us off on your initial kind of reactions to hearing this? That's Top Cut will have open deck lists.
So I think for Top Cut, it's okay to have open deck lists just because the players that are in Top Cut, a lot of them have already been on stream. So you've been able to see everyone's deck already, so it kind of evens the playing field. Whereas, like, if someone maybe didn't play on stream, then maybe you wouldn't know their deck. But if you're playing against someone who was on stream, then you know the tech cards that are in their deck. So it gets rid of that advantage. But I know this isn't what's happening, but like if they shift to open deck lists in the whole tournament, that's when I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of that just because Um, like I think part of the TCG is adapting to what your opponent's doing. And if you know their deck list, you'll be able to see what's coming. But if you don't know their deck list, then you just when it happens, you have to react to that, which I think is a, a good like a good skill to have. And if you are good at reacting to situations, then you'll do well, which I think is a good thing to be a part of a TCG. But yeah, for Top Cut specifically, I think it's fine. Just because of what I just said. But yeah, I want to know what do you think about it?
So I think that's actually where we differentiate. Where I kind of take because I've been following Pokemon competitively since I want to say 2016. I only started playing the TCG around last year, but I've also been following VGC for a while, mainly through Wolf Click and all of his YouTube videos that he's made and everything. But I remember last year at Toronto Regionals when I was out of contention for day two, which happened only 5 rounds in, so it wasn't really that long. After I decided to drop, what I did spend some time doing after some side events was watching the VGC stream. For those of you who are unaware, in the video game for the regionals, every person, and I think it's going to operate very similarly in the TCG for Top Cut, you get given your opponent's team sheet, which gives them all the Pokemon that you have access to, all the Pokemon's moves. With the current generation of Pokemon, their Terra typing, which is for VGC, if you don't know, is a very big deal because it changes the type of the Pokemon, which then changes super effective moves and all of that. And then the items held. Players get a look at it for I think a couple minutes before the match starts. They get taken away, and then the game starts. I think a lot of people in the TCG community have probably the same opinion as you do. If it was like for not just Top Cut, I agree completely with you right now. Where it's like if it's a Top Cut, doesn't really matter. Tord was on like for Las Vegas, for example. Tord's first game was round four, which must suck for him because it happens pretty often to him. I know he was complaining a little bit about it. Not complaining. But I think he was talking about it for Milwaukee, that he was kind of like upset that it happened so early because then it's like his Mega Absol list, which he kind of leaked before, but now everything is out there. So he's like, dang, no surprising at all. But yeah, I agree. Like I think that was on Top Cut level of the playing field. Something that I kind of think about is Leah Halliburt's line of Darumaka. Like I think if you didn't know that he was playing Darumaka, you play that matchup very differently. So it's an advantage and it's a skill to know what your opponent's deck list is and kind of assume what they're playing. For example, you're playing against Goldango, you know that they're probably not going to be playing any Ionos, right? So I can see the argument where it's like, does it lower the skill ceiling and everything? But I think for me, it kind of makes things a bit more, I don't want to say like chess, but it definitely, I think, makes things a bit more kind of getting rid of maybe a personal perspective, like when you're talking, looking through your own games, of, oh, I didn't know what they were playing. Oh, I didn't know what was going on. I think it kind of, this, like my justification for it, I think it kind of will force people to get better at the game because you don't have any excuses anymore. Like, I think something that is a big issue in the TCG is a lot of people will blame their losses on having bad luck. They will blame their losses on things like, I didn't know that they were playing that card. And I think it kind of stunts the growth of a lot of players, which I've been a victim of this when I first started out. Like, I would prize my A spec, I would prize one line of Dracloaks, and then at the time I'd prize Alakazam, and it'd be like, oh, I lost that game because I prized my Alakazam. Or I'd be playing against a deck I didn't know and be like, oh, I didn't know how to play that matchup, so I lost that game. I think what Open Deck List does is kind of eliminate that. And now it's like you have all the information you need. You obviously, as a TCG, skills going to be involved. There's going to be like a bit of chance if you draw well, if you draw poorly. But for me, it's like you have no excuses to not play as good as Pokemon. The best type of Pokemon you can. And I think it will eventually kind of force people to just get better at the game. Is kind of my thought process behind it. I don't know what you feel
Yeah.
about that, but I think it's like in the long run, It might suck. It's gonna be something you adjust to, but I think in the
Yeah.
long run, it might be like, hey, I knew that Piper was only playing one Reshiram, and instead of going through the discard pile and realizing that she had already used her super rods and her night stretchers, and I instead I should have KO'd the Reshiram, I decided to try to go for the 2 prize to win the prize trade. Oh, but I didn't know she was only playing the one Reshiram. I was like, now you know. You just misplayed. Like you calculated the
Yeah.
game wrong.
Yeah.
You can't blame that on anything. That whatever you didn't know what was going on. You knew. You lost because you made the wrong choice. That's kind of my thoughts on
Mm.
it, at least.
Yeah. My one like I don't want to say argument because it's not an argument. My like counter argument to that is like I think the reason that the top players are top players is because they know what their opponents like they know their opponents like what they should be playing in their list. So going into it, they have an advantage because they know most likely you're going to be playing this stuff. So that's why they can work around like, oh, they might have this, so I'm going to be careful with one thing that I'm doing. Whereas like someone who doesn't prepare as much, they don't really know what your deck could possibly be running. So then they don't prepare, and then when you bring out the card that wins you the matchup, they don't see it coming. So I think like just that goes towards like being prepared for tournaments. Um, Whereas like if you have open deck lists, you don't need to be as prepared as you would have been before the open deck lists. But like I understand your point, like it makes sense. But like that's just the one thing I would say about that is just if you're prepared for a tournament, you shouldn't need the open deck lists. Is That's all I would say about that.
I think that makes sense. I do
Yeah.
think that's like one of the arguments I kind of do see for keeping deck lists closed is like, yeah, exactly what you said. You prepare well. You know that again. Um, what's a good example? I think on stream. I am trying to think if there's any examples on stream, but let's just say you're playing Dragapult and their Haluch is in the discard, and you are only have 2 prizers left. You go for the knockout. You bench a Fez. You go for the knockout, and then because you didn't know, they were playing 2 Night Stretcher, and then all of a sudden Night Stretcher in, or they play the Super Rod or whatever. They play something that you weren't expecting or you didn't know because you haven't played the matchup. You didn't test it. I think a good example is um, maybe the reason why Venusaur feels like a really strong deck when I play on the ladder is a lot of people don't expect the Toad School line. So I have the Forest Vitality. I played a Toad School, the basic, and then I play Toad School.
Yeah.
And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, they can't get anything from their discard pile. It's happened in person, I think, at a locals when I was playing against Janikin, which he ended up winning because I forgot that Fez did weakness. But he ended up. The reason he was in a very tough position is because he didn't know I played the Toadstool line. Um, with the way that Pokemon works, TBCI works, I'm assuming if this is ever implemented at the regionals levels, yeah, bet it's going to be coming to the local levels because they do not like having consistencies between them.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, him not knowing that or him not preparing, even though it's just a challenge, obviously lower stakes, he now is going to be super wary about the Toad School line. The entire time he's going to play completely differently, which I do agree with that.
Mhm.
I think just for me, I think that's a part of the skill in Pokemon that I think will still be relevant with open deck lists, which you might be like, oh, but you know the deck. Sure, I might like look at the deck, but I think that another skill is like, what do you actually look for? Like if you're playing against Goldango,
Yeah,
the
for sure.
first thing you're gonna look for is, do they play a Cornerstone counter? Oh, they don't. Sick. I know exactly what I have to do now. Which,
Hmm.
if maybe you're not experienced in the game, you don't realize that they don't play that counter tool because you're looking at something else. You're getting overwhelmed with something else. You're not knowing what to look for.
Hmm.
Whereas I think it might create another element of skill where it's like, oh, Goldango, cool. Okay, Mega Mawile, sick. Won't have to rely on. Can't do Cornerstone. Anything interesting? No. The reason I think it's still not going to matter is because like people play the same decks, just bar for bar what's on Limitless, except the best players, which you do have. Like I think the biggest argument is that this just sucks for the best players. It sucks for the Henry
Yeah.
Childs. It sucks for the Tord Redcliffs, like the Azules, the Pipers. Like it sucks for them because this huge advantage in why that they win games that or matchups that are bad against not the best players is because they know how to approach them. Every step, they know what to approach.
Mhm.
They know what to approach if they prize something. They know how to approach it if they prize a boss or if they whiff a boss. They know what to do. So I think for the top players, it really sucks because now this
Mhm.
huge skill kind of does go off the windows. And I think what this, for me at least, is why I like it. It's not that with open deck lists, I'm not going to go ahead and go win Toronto. Like that's not like that's not going to matter. Like
Right.
I still have to be
Yeah.
prepared. I still have to be good. But I think with open deck lists, it kind of allows for maybe people to kind of be like, oh, I'm just going to regionals to have fun. To be like, oh, maybe if I just learn my matchups, that's a
Yeah.
smaller skill element, right? I think in today's like increasing world with like people have school, people work a lot. Like you work at like two jobs, like you do so much, right? And it's like here's this thing that can kind of even the playing field where you just don't have the time to play as much Pokemon as you want. But now you sit down
Yeah.
across from someone at regionals, go like, oh, they're playing Cornerstone, but because you've been playing the game so long, you know how to play around it.
Right.
And I still think it benefits people who prepare. I still think it benefits people who take a long time, who have dedicated a lot of time to the game. But I think it kind of like mellows out this kind of like skill that maybe isn't the most important. But I
Mhm.
I think overall it does suck for the best players, and there's no argument against that. Like if you're a top player right now, I think you're just praying this never happens to the open spread. Because also I can
Right.
only imagine the problems of like your entire deck list just getting leaked um,
Right.
immediately from round one.
Mhm.
So now all of a sudden, I think it's a thing that's going to be really big on the tournament organizers. Would be if this ever gets pushed to every single round of Swiss. If you're not paying attention, it can be really exploited. And I think the moment something like that happens, it's got to go. It's got to get scrapped. It has for me, at least, one mess up and you're done. Like if this like
Yeah.
ruins an entire regionals, it's got to go. It's that's kind of my at least closing thoughts on it. But
Yeah.
to kind of shift gears a little bit, how excited are you for Toronto, Lucas? Because I've been so
Oh,
excited
I'm very excited.
since
Yeah.
I.
Just like,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say because it's like the home regional. Like we're from the Toronto area, so just like there's gonna be so many people we know there. Just like our friends from locals that maybe don't go to regionals usually. A lot of them are going to be going to this, so just seeing everybody that I know that plays Pokemon in this area at one tournament, I think I think what I'm most excited about is just seeing everybody there, and then seeing how everybody does because I love like for regionals that are like I'm not going to, so like I didn't go to Vegas, but I still love to follow along with the people I know. And Toronto is going to have so many people that I know there, so just like being able to follow along with everybody I know, I think that's what I'm most excited for. Yeah.
I think that's exactly it for me. I think last year the only negative experience I had at regionals is I didn't know anyone. So I was just
Right.
there at the venue being like, "Damn, it's round 5 and I just got my ass kicked and there's 40 minutes left in the round. I'm just chilling. Like
What do I do?
I can't even play like Coliseum on like the consoles that they bring because no one's gonna play Coliseum with me. So I think now it's a lot better. I think it makes the prospects of saving so much more money for side events so cool. Because
Right.
what do you mean? Like, I think we were talking about this a lot on the Top Shelf Discord, which if you haven't already, you should join because if you want to get the latest Pokemon product from Top Shelf Co. and be up to date on everything, you have to join our Discord because that's where it all goes live. Everything goes in person first. So, a quick little plug to our
Mhm.
Discord. But what we were talking about there is like we have 8 people easily. You can get a pod with a bunch of people you know, right? Like we're talking
Mhm.
Dan. I think Denzel, who's I think almost on every single actually. I have to look back, but I think on every single challenge he's been in the top 8. You have Dan, Denzel. Hey, let's run a quick 4-man pod of Ditto, and we just split the pricing. So all
Yeah.
of a sudden, you get 4 packs of Phantasmal Flames for $15, which in today's economy is a bargain. It's a
Yeah.
steal. So I'm really excited for Toronto Regionals. I did have a like regardless even of like having like being a bit more lonely last year. I still had such a blast. I was able to meet Wolf Glick. I talked to Rahul Reddy. which is really really cool. And I was also able to meet Alpha Rad, which like kind of blew my
That's
mind
pretty cool.
because when I was younger, I used to watch this guy all the time, and then my brother watches him. I used to watch him every once in a while when he makes like Pokemon related content, and then I was able to come home at like see with my brother and be like, "Hey, look who I met." He was like, "What? No way!" I was like, "Yeah." So all those aspects, and now I just have more people I get to hang out with. It's gonna be really cool. I think what I'm gonna try to do is like make some cool content for Top Shelf about it. Probably like
Yeah,
follow
that'd be awesome.
my POV or like our POV. See how we do. See how we like when you're. It's like round 9. You're still in it, and I'm just here like it's been 7 rounds. So I haven't been able to make day 2. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's gonna be really exciting. Um,
Hmm.
Regionals is always such a great time in general, so I'm very excited to go. Which will not be so. I think for the January, no, that would be like for the February episode of the podcast. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll do a special
Yeah.
one right after Toronto, just to kind of have it all fresh in our memories. But that's kind of all I have today. So, Lucas,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time and for excellent conversation about the deck list. I definitely think I'm going to keep my eye out and see how it does in general, see how it changes Toronto. If it doesn't change anything, probably won't because I will, again, not
I won't
making.
be in Top Gun,
I
so
won't
it
be in
doesn't
Top
matter.
Gun, so it doesn't matter. I'll be watching. I will be watching them from the seating area and be like, "Oh, look, Liam Halbert just like barely glanced at Tor's list because he already knows what Tor's playing." Cool.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's gonna be really fun. But yeah, we'll see everyone on. Actually, Lucas, do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to say quickly?
No, I think you covered it. Yeah.
Perfect. So I want to
Yeah.
say thank you to everyone at home for watching the 5th episode of the Top Cut Pod. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you is the first time you've seen us, please like and subscribe. Again, there's a lot of content on this channel. I just recently, 2 weeks ago, finished up a kill team video about our 3v3 that we had. Pretty huge event too. People coming from the States. So if you want to learn a bit more about kill team and how that works, consider subscribing. There are going to be a couple box breaks coming out with a lot of new games that have come out recently, such as Riftbound and the Avatar set for Magic the Gathering, the Avatar Last Airbender. So those are going to be hopefully coming out soon. And as always, we hope to see you guys at Top Shelf Co. future events. If you do come out, or if you come to the store and you watch the podcast, let me or Lucas know. It will like genuinely make my day. I had someone
Yeah.
do it once, and they're like, "I saw you on the podcast" as he was leaving, and I was like, "Oh, what?"
You
So
watched the
I was
podcast?
like, "You watch the podcast?" I like it's the first time I've helped you. You watch the podcast, so if you watch it, let us know. But yeah, Lucas, again, thank you so much for your time. Um, it's getting late over here, so you are gonna have to be up so early. I have the privilege of not having to do that every day for now. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Hey guys.